This is part 2 of Deathwish by Ian Hart. Part 2
Ian,
of
where did we
Deathwish
leave off
by
last
Ian
week?
So last week things were getting pretty intense. The party had made an attempt to ambush current Mayor Tom, the possibly a vampire. The crew is scattered all around, and I'll let everybody introduce themselves and say where they were. And then I'll come back in and explain what the threats are, and we can jump into the fight.
Cool. I guess I'll start. My name is Ray, and I'll be playing Grigsby. Grigsby is a forlorn wood golem detective who finds himself recently transformed, and he doesn't like it because he can't feel anything, and he can't. And he is currently hiding as a tree in a crowd while shit is going down. This is an adult show, by the way. We will be using adult language.
Okay, I'm David. I'm playing Jack. Jack is a human gunslinger. His character class is Ranger. He is out in the crowd in front of where the speech was going on, and he has his pistol out and just shot.
Hi, my name is Mistletoe Kiss. I am playing Irma, a goblin who is multi-classing into probably way too many things. And Irma is currently up on the roof after just taking a shot at the mayor and his guard.
Yep. And the way I remember it is that after Jack's shot distracted the mayor's shadowy, ominous guard, Irma took that opportunity to knock the mayor unconscious with a big ball of water.
Yes.
And so that leaves two significant enemies in play. There's the cloaked figure, who you could see here. They're threat 4. They've got a fight clock, which is the clock for how much stuff you're going to have to do to take them out of the combat. They have this eye with the little symbols on it here, which means they have a risky focus. Focus is a mechanic that means if a player takes an action that interacts with the target of their focus, they take a risky consequence before they can take their action.
Dang.
He also has this shield icon, which means he has potent armor. So any attacks that aren't armor piercing are going to have reduced effect against him. The other big enemy is the guard captain, who we now have every suspicion is a vampire, who is up on the roof behind Irma. And he also has a focus, here represented with this little eye. It's only a controlled focus, which means he'll only inflict a controlled consequence if you interact with the subject of his focus. And you guys know what the focuses are. And right now, the cloaked figure is focusing on himself, and the guard captain is focusing on Irma. The rest of the situation is that the crowd is currently at standing -2 with you guys, which means that they're going to actively interfere with you because, as far as they know, all you've done is try to assassinate their mayor.
They're very popular mayor.
Yes.
Beloved by everyone and does nothing wrong.
Ooh. Wait, what? Who is his rival? The other guy running for office?
Tom.
Yeah,
Yep.
Tom. Vote Tom.
You just look down at the merch all over you. Oh yeah, Tom.
Yeah, that's who we're sporting. That guy.
We're just engaged in extreme campaigning here.
It's an interesting euphemism for assassination, yeah. All right. So anybody can go ahead and take an action. But bear in mind that if the action involves Irma, or if the action involves the cloaked figure, then you'll be setting off a consequence that you'll have to deal with from their focus.
Okay.
And to
Ian.
clarify, does that focus only directly impact Irma, or does that impact somebody else if they interrupt that focus?
It will interact somebody else. It will apply to somebody else if they interact with you. So if somebody's like, I want to heal Irma while the focus is there, then the enemy might shoot the bandages out of their hand or something.
Okay.
So they're a big threat to you. But because they're not focused on themselves, if somebody else wants to target them right now, they wouldn't be able to fight back with their focus.
So Ian, can my character just like think about the situation? Is that like a move I can make that doesn't trigger any of the consequences or like the
Yeah. A focus will only trigger if the NPC can see that you're doing something. So if you're
Okay.
stealthily doing something or doing it entirely in your head, that would not trigger a focus.
Okay.
So what do you want to think about the situation? If you want to try and solve a mystery, you could use Dabble. Like if you wanted to figure out what the cloaked figure's whole deal is, Dabble might help there. Or if you wanted to try to spot an advantage, that would be Survey. You could be like, does it look like there's a loose floorboard under the captain or something?
Definitely that one. I definitely
Okay.
want to survey. Yeah.
All right. So unlike in a system like D&D where there might be things that the GM sets out and then you roll to find them, in this system you tell me what you want to find, and then the result of the roll will decide if you find it with a complication, or if it's not there. But you just make up what it is you want to see. And if it's particularly unlikely, like if you want to say, oh, I see that there's a rock slide coming down right on my enemies, I'm going to say you're probably starting at 0 effect.
Okay. So I am going to see if there's an advantage. And where are Jack and Irma?
Jack's in the crowd.
Okay.
I'm up on the roof.
Does anybody
Try
have
not
an
to get shot.
anybody have an idea of an advantage that's within the bounds of
Weakness in the floorboard. We're kind of looking up at this. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ian. We're kind of looking up at this balcony.
Balcony, yep.
So some kind of weakness that we could take advantage of underneath that would cause things to start rolling downward could be a possibility. Does that sound like something to be looking for?
Yeah, that sounds like something that could definitely be spotted.
Let's do it.
All right.
Grigsby, let's see what
So,
you're made of.
For your position, since you're just looking, I would say controlled. And since that sounds like a reasonable thing that would be there, I would say normal effect.
Okay, and I have 2 dice. Wait, yes, 2 dice. Do I want to push myself? Yes, I will push myself.
It is only a controlled consequence, so failing this roll might not be too bad compared to things you might save that stress for later, like resisting.
Yeah, this you might want to save your stress.
All right. Cool.
If you feel like you
2
really need the
dice.
extra die, Jack could assist you for less stress.
You want to assist, Jack?
But it is still only a controlled consequence.
How about you just make the roll straight? How about we save our stress, you and I? Because I'm
Sounds
guessing
good.
we might have to do some resistance rolls coming up soon.
Okay, I'm rolling. Roll 20. I got a 6.
6. There you go.
6.
All right.
Very quick.
So with a full success, you look, and sure enough, you see that the load-bearing support bar under the balcony is rotted from the sea breeze, and you think it wouldn't take much of a whack to break it and cause the whole balcony to tip forward.
All right. How high up is this balcony?
Just 1 floor.
Just 1 floor. So
Well, it's on the 2nd story, to be clear.
So
yeah,
probably about 12, maybe 15 feet at absolute most from ground level.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, up from us. All right. Does it look like something that if I were to put a couple of rounds into it, I might be able to affect?
Yes.
Okay. And does Grigsby inform me of this? Since he's the one who knows about it at this point.
Yeah, and I guess there's nothing to lose because the crowd is getting rowdy around us.
Yeah.
So Grigsby would just yell, "Jack, shoot the roof!"
Okay. And we can assume that I see it?
Yeah. When he says shoot the balcony, you're like, aha.
Okay, right there. All right. So I'm going to see about taking a draw action one-handed with my my revolver.
Cool. So I would say your position, since you're surrounded by unfriendly townsfolk, is going to be risky. Somebody might
Sure.
jump in and try and stop you. And your effect is normal because it's within your effective range, and it's something that you could easily break with your gun.
Okay. All right. So I have 3 dice in that. I am not going to push myself, so I'm just going to roll 3.
All right, you got a 5.
Yep.
So with a 5, that's a mixed, and so you get what you want. Bang, 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 and the bar breaks, and the balcony tips, and the cloaked figure tumbles, and the mayor come tumbling down off the balcony and land in the middle of the crowd, who panic backwards. But in the meantime, as the consequence, the guards are going to close in around you. And so you've now got a scale 1 group of armed guards who are in close range of you. So that's
Armed
going to...
with what?
So the general mix for the setting is swords and revolvers generally.
Swords and revolvers. So
yeah. So there's
notable.
some out there with swords and some who've got guns and are standing a little further back.
Okay.
And they're like, halt.
Okay, so that's the complication I'm in.
Yeah, so you could resist that if you want.
No, I don't think I'm going to resist that one again. I'm thinking we're up against some pretty fearsome opposition, and we only have so much stress available to us, so I'm not resisting that one.
Could I technically resist for him?
Yeah, you can take the protect action.
Or do I still have a focus on me?
You do, but protect is a special move that isn't an action. So technically he can't stop you with the focus.
Okay. So I just want to throw muffins or something down off the balcony.
Distract them.
Muffins for all if you vote for Tom.
Tom.
I don't know if that's gonna stop the guards from closing in. That might work if it was the crowd turning against you.
Oh.
But I think these guards are a little more dedicated to their job, not so easily distracted.
Yeah, if that were.
That's kind of all I have. I have a few other items, but I don't think I'd be able to.
Well, do you have, since things are collapsing in your general region, do you have like pieces of wood to throw?
Let me see what I have here.
I mean, like right at hand.
Bits of balcony, maybe.
That somebody
nearby?
just shot full of holes.
Water bending. That's pretty powerful.
Pieces of balcony.
Oh yeah, I could just spray him in the face with water.
Yeah, you want to do that?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, that sounds like awareness would probably be the best choice. What do you want to use?
Let me double check my ability here to see what it needs. So it would be draw. So I will go ahead and use that for 2.
Yeah, so draws in awareness. So what's your total for awareness?
Oh, 2.
Yeah,
because
okay.
I have 1 in pack and then 2 in draw, so it's 2 total.
So yeah, to resist, you just roll that. And 5. Okay, so you'll take 1 stress and splash them with water, high pressure, hopefully, just hose them down. And that slows them down enough that they only get into medium range and they're still mixed into the crowd instead of at close range. To Jack and Grigsby.
Cool. All right. So we're in a situation where if we interact with these enemies, we are going to be facing consequences, which, obviously we can resist.
If you interact with the cloaked figure, the guard captain up on the roof is still focusing on Irma, and so targeting them won't activate a focus.
Okay. I think that's a reasonable thing for me to do. So
hold on. Are you a better shot, Jack? Let me do the distracting. You do the shooting, because I'm not very good at shooting.
All right. Yeah, I have 3 dots in draw.
Yeah. So let me emote at this.
I have sharpshooter, which means I have increased range, so that being at medium range with a pistol isn't going to be a problem for me.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to emote at the person on the roof to draw his or her attention away.
Okay. So as a setup action.
Okay.
Yep.
So emote is 2, and what's my position and effect?
I would say you're probably controlled. The crowd isn't going to be very hostile about you just being weird.
Okay.
And then your effect is probably limited because he's pretty
Limited?
focused on Irma. Yeah.
Okay.
So you'll get his attention, but only for a time.
I'm gonna push for effect. So that puts me at 4. And I got 2 dice. Jack, can you assist here?
Sure.
Okay. So that's 3. And I'll roll on roll 20. Roll 3d6. Come on, roll 20. What is this? 6.
All right. So you go ahead and narrate how it is you're getting his attention up there on the roof.
Well, obviously, it starts with his mother, and it goes all the way down.
I see.
From there. Just insults, and.
All right, so he
profanities.
Comes over to the edge of the roof, and he's going to point his dual revolvers down at you, and he's going to change his focus from Irma onto you.
Woohoo! Oh, sorry.
So that leaves you, Irma, close to him, and he's no longer focusing on you, so you could potentially get him from behind now. Or Jack, he's right up on the edge of the roof if you want to take your shot.
Happy to take my shot.
All right.
I'm guessing maybe we're going to end up kind of doing this simultaneously again.
Yeah, it's a useful trick. Usually you want whoever's got more stress to spare to go second, because you got to flash back to do it at the same time.
Yep. Well, I've got 4 stress remaining.
I have 6.
Okay.
All right. So Jack, you want to take the first shot?
Sure.
And that would actually make more sense, to be honest, because as soon as you make a wound, my little spice of life will really enjoy that.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so I'm going to roll.
So for your position, it's again going to be risky because the crowd doesn't like you doing violent things towards the mayor. Totally. And then your effect, I believe with a regular revolver is going to be 0 because the revolver bullets are just threat 1. And as a vampire, this guy is threat 3.
Right. So I could push for effect to get limited effect.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Did Grigsby's setup action do anything?
Oh yeah, that should improve your effect. So you actually are already at limited because he's come into range but isn't focused on you.
All right. Well, that would put me down to 2 stress.
You could instead trade position for effect if you want to just take the time to aim, but maybe let the
guards
get in closer.
Yeah, I'm going to trade position for effect and kind of ignore the guards, let them move in on me. They're coming in close. I'll deal with them after I get my shot off.
All
Hey,
right, so that puts you
talking
at
to you.
desperate normal.
Okay, sounds like fun, but not quite Deathwish.
You can trade
all right.
again.
No, that's about as far as I think I want to go at this point. All right, 3 dice. And
5. All right. So you take your shot, and it should kill him because he doesn't have a fight clock. However, this is when he reveals that he has potent evasion, which is reduce effect from any attack that doesn't benefit from scale. So he is going to dodge to the side and only take limited effect. Your bullet will impact into him, and he'll stagger and be wounded, but not quite out yet. And then your desperate consequence is not only do the guards emerge out of the crowd, but one of them is going to stab you and inflict a wound.
okay,
And so you can resist those separately, or
sure.
yeah.
So the 2 consequences are I've gotten stabbed, and I'm sorry, what's the other one?
The fact that they've moved into close of you.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna resist, and that would be resist with awareness, or
Yeah, that makes the most sense to me. You could
Okay.
also resist with prowess, since they're, you could just like run away.
all right. I have 1 dot in each of those, so it doesn't matter really.
You could also just take the wound, which will give you a -1d going forward until you heal it with elixir, which is just an item that costs 1 load. And another thing you could do with 1 load is you could reveal that all this time you've been wearing armor, and check off your armor box to resist the wound.
Yeah, I think I'm going to check it. I think I'm going to say that I'm wearing armor, since the only thing I've declared at this point, up to this point, was the pistol.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, so the light armor is only 1 load, and then that lets you check your armor box to reduce physical consequence.
okay, so I'm going to do that.
All right, and so a wound, when resisted, goes down to a glancing hit, and a glancing hit means you can either pay 1 stress to just heroically dismiss it. Either you get stabbed and don't care, or you just like make it glance off you, do some other cool thing, or you can take it and it will inflict a wound, but you'll gain a point of morale, which is sort of like temporary stress that you can spend for other stuff.
I think I will do that. I think I'll take it as a glancing blow.
So you'll pay the 1 stress to
Pay the 1 stress. That brings me down to 3 stress. So I'm feeling kind of stressed out at the moment. But I'm gonna say that I take the wound on my armor, and as I duck, so it becomes a glancing strike that just slides across the armor.
Cool. All right.
All right. And I guess that means Irma's up next for that flashback.
Yeah. So since it was a planned attack, I'm going to say it's just 1 stress to time it right, to do it in a flashback. And the advantage of that is that his attack will count as a setup action for you. So you'll be starting in controlled position.
Excellent.
And so as far as effect, what are you hitting him with?
I'm hitting him with my signature weapon.
Oh, okay. You're blasting him with the salt shaker.
Oh yes.
So I think that's tier 1, threat 1, scale 1.
Only you can competently wield it. Doesn't tell me the threat level of it.
Yeah, I think that was based on a salamander, which is like a little blunderbuss. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so the stats for a salamander are
I was just gonna say, especially weak against vampires. No!
Threat 1, scale 1, close range, weak versus armors, +1 attack on attack rolls.
Great. So the fact it's scale 1 means his evasion won't be able to help him, and it's +1 on attack rolls, so you get +1 die to roll here. because it's
yeah.
hard to miss with a blunderbuss.
All right, blunderbuss.
And so since it's threat 1, scale 1 against a tier 3, you'll be limited effect, but your elixir ammo is super effective against vampires, so that'll be normal effect instead. So you're at controlled normal here.
All right, here we go. 5.
All right. So you blam blast him, and that's gonna kill him. But
Deathwish.
his controlled consequence, he is going to shoot you, and it's going to ping off your pot and just sort of glance you on the arm. So that's a glancing hit.
Not the paint on my pot.
So you could resist it or block it with armor, but usually the best thing to do with a glancing hit is to just pay the 1 stress to cancel it out entirely.
Okay, I'll cancel that.
Okay.
But for effect, I say essentially he missed me, but he still put a scratch in my pot, or a little dent.
Yep. Yeah, when you pay that stress, you can narrate it however you want. So yeah, your
nerd.
pot saved you.
Well, that'll show him. He should not have turned down your muffin.
So
Precisely.
as he explodes into sparkling dust, the townsfolk are going to look up and see that and be like, "Oh, which side should we be on here?" And so I'm going to say that improves your standing to now -1. They still see you as violent intruders, but they're less inclined to attack you now.
All
This sounds like a job for Grigsby.
Yeah,
you want to
Grig.
yell something like vampire, vampire, vampire?
Yeah, or just yell like, yes, they're the evil ones all along.
That would mean something
Not us.
totally different if this was a fighter pilot game.
All right. So since you're trying to change the standing with this group, and they're inclined to listen to you, I'm going to say it's normal effect. And since it's currently negative, I'll say it's risky position. So I'd say you've got a risky normal emote roll in front of you. And when it
Okay.
comes to standing, normal effect means it'll move it 1 standing level. So you'll get to 0, which means they'll be neutral towards you.
Do I get any bonuses for being a tree?
I don't think that makes them more inclined to trust you. No.
How about my 3 and dabble? Can I dabble in some other arts?
You could try to set yourself up by dropping some obscure vampire lore or something. I'm not sure exactly what that would entail.
Yes. Behold, the vampires. They don't enjoy the anchovy pizzas. Is that okay?
You could try it. So as a setup action, I would say it'll probably be controlled position and limited effect, because there aren't really any obscure vampire facts that are likely to help you here.
The anchovies. Can I take
Yeah.
stress for limited effect? I'll go with limited effect. That sounds okay. That sounds
All right.
okay.
All right.
All right, let's roll on. 2D, 3D6. My number 1 skill, dabble. 6, yes!
All right. And so you're like, haven't you ever noticed that the guard captain never once ate anchovies? And the crowd's going to be like, he might have a point, or he might not, but I'm inclined to listen. So I think that'll get you to controlled position, and you're still at normal. So now you're at controlled normal.
Okay, so I'm gonna go all in and emote and try to convince them that it's all one big conspiracy, and that's why they should vote for Tom.
All right.
Okay, and I'm gonna push. So what is my effect?
It was normal, but I think the fact that you're now appealing to the Tom voters is going to bring that up to greater. So you're at controlled greater now. And greater, when you're trying to change standing, means you'll still change standing by 1 level, but you'll also gain 1 supporter within that group. So there'll be 1 person in the group who actually likes you, and who might be a useful contact.
Yes.
Cool.
Okay, so I will Should I push myself? I'm at 4 stress out of 8.
So sounds like pushing yourself would be a big expense.
Yeah, that's half your
Okay.
stress.
Okay.
It would
so-
get you up to extreme effect, which would let you change the standing by 2 levels instead of gaining a supporter. But
That's nah. I'll do the 2. I'll do the 2. Roll 2d6. Uh, 4.
all right, mixed success. So you convince the townsfolk that the vampires are real, and so they're now neutral. They're not attacking you, but at the same time, they're not attacking anyone else because they're not sure who's a vampire and who isn't. However, out of the townsfolk, one person who you recognize as the Mayor Tom spokesperson who came out to greet you originally comes running up, and he stands right next to you and says, "He's right. Mayoral candidate Tom is the only one who can defend you from these fiends." And so he's now standing there with you, supporting you.
That's what I've been saying all along. This guy. What's?
I don't have a name for him. You want to name him?
I'll come up with something in a little
All right,
bit.
all right.
So while all this is happening, what is the? Do we see what the mysterious stranger is doing?
Well, nobody's rolled any consequences, so he hasn't really been doing anything, except just standing up from where he fell off the balcony and now looming ominously on that side of the crowd. He's
No.
still standing over the mayor, so it seems like they're valuing Mayor Becker and trying to keep him alive.
So he's just being in bodyguard mode, basically.
Mm-hmm. Although he's focused on himself, not on anyone else.
Mhm.
I think Irma's gonna kind of like see that, kind of be a little curious and be like, is this friend or foe? And then just kind of like hold out a muffin and say, if you're human, you're gonna eat this.
All right.
Irma.
So what kind of action do you think that is? Are you trying to provoke them into becoming friendly with emote, or are you trying to
I'm just trying to see if they're friend or foe right now. But yeah, I think emote is probably my best move here to try to get him to eat a muffin.
all right.
Push yourself to make them really believe.
Although you're still up on the roof and they've now been dropped down to the ground. So are you just like dropping a muffin on them, or?
I will have my beetle fly me down a little closer to their face. Gonna hold it out from the pot and be like,
I am going to point out that for your beetle to fly, they have to invert the alchemy of their armor so that it becomes light instead of heavy. And so if they are hostile, they might kill your beetle in one shot while it's flying. So it would be
it's
a
not
very
my first beetle, it's fine.
risky position. All right.
Oh. Yeah.
Last one got turned into a stew, but I don't want to talk about that right now. So,
All right. Well, I'm going to call it desperate position because you're
Beetles
approaching
live fast, die hard.
someone who's so much higher threat than you, and your beetle is exposing itself.
Mhm.
And
Don't
then
talk that way about her, Beetle.
to convince them to eat your muffin is going to be probably 0 effect. I feel like they're not inclined for eat a muffin from the person who just knocked out the person they're bodyguarding.
Right, but it's prove yourself. Are you a vampire or are you a man? You eat this muffin.
Yeah, to provoke them, I'll say limited. Yeah.
Okay.
So desperate limited. It's not the greatest action roll, but you could take it as is, or we could try to. Oh, you took it as is, and it went badly. So you descend on your beetle. You're like, eat this muffin, and they are going to pull a spear off their back called an impaler spear.
What?
This is a long metal spear that comes to a twisted point, and they're going to jam it into your beetle and slam it down into the ground and
Poor
kill the
beetle.
beetle. As 2 parts of that consequence, and then as an additional consequence, you're knocked off your beetle and are prone on the ground.
Dang.
To resist
So
one
it's
or
just
both
like
of those.
just like the pot and beetle go tumbling, and where Irma
Oh.
stops, the pot is like over the top of her, and now like all the.
I think "Not My First Beetle" should be the title of this episode.
You know what's upsetting? I'm not even thinking about the beetle. I'm just thinking I'm gonna be stuck in the car with Grigsby when he drives away after this. I'm gonna get so car sick.
I have a very nice car. Thank you very much. It's
Just strap
vintage.
my pot right onto the front of it. It'll be
Classic.
fine.
So it's not the smoothest ride. Gets the job.
I
done.
am not going to resist any of those consequences.
All right.
I think the fictional standing is it makes sense. Plus, I have cover underneath the pot at the moment, so
That you do.
I will keep that.
All right.
Oof.
So I think so. I'm in the vicinity of Grigsby as far as is my mental understanding of the space here. So I'm going to say to Grigsby, that guy seems really tough, and I think it makes sense to really get this crowd on our side and not provoke him too much.
Okay. Grigsby will appeal to the better angels of their nature. Can I do that? Can I emote?
You can emote again.
Okay.
What does that look like in the fiction, though?
Can we get a chant going?
Yeah.
Kill the vampire.
Kill vampire. Vote for Tom.
Tom ain't wrong. Tom ain't wrong. Tom ain't wrong.
Tom ain't no vampire.
Tom ain't wrong.
All right. So you're going to try and set up a chant. I'm going to say you've probably got limited effect for that. The townsfolk aren't in a super chanty mood right now. And then
We have one person who will go along with that. I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
2 people, because Jack can join in the chanting too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then I would say controlled position for now. Nobody's going to beat you up for chanting. So yeah, controlled limited.
Okay. And that is roll.
And
two.
so limited effect when trying to change standing. All that's going to do is get you one more follower, one more person in the crowd who's taking your side.
Bodies are useful.
One at a
Bodies
time.
are useful.
Just got to convince the whole crowd, one person at a time. We're going to be here for a while. Let's start rolling.
Got
All right.
5.
Okay, so one person in the crowd is like, "Tom ain't wrong," and
Yes.
Ain't wrong.
Say loud,
come
say
over here,
proud.
Tom ain't wrong. The rest of the crowd is not liking that though. So the consequence is going to be that if you try that again, it'll be a risky position. They're getting irritated with you trying to campaign in this life or death situation.
You think Grigsby cares? Grigsby don't care about what these people think. I'll try it again.
Risky limited again? There's a lot of people here. It's going to take like 30 rolls to turn them all at limited.
That's risking a lot of consequences.
You might want to trade position for effect, or push for effect, or setup, or.
Cool. I'll trade position for effect.
All right. So how are you making yourself more obnoxious and persuasive?
Maybe challenge them to be pushy about. Do you want to vote for them for some vampire lover?
Yeah. I think just louder and more obnoxious, like you said.
All right.
Leave it at that.
All right. So that's a desperate position because they are really sick of you, and normal effect if you pull it off.
I'm gonna push.
For dice?
Yeah.
All right. And it sounded like Jack was joining in on the chanting too. Do you want to assist?
I don't have a dot in emote.
Ah, all right.
Okay. 3d6. Come on. Yes. 6.
Okay. And you're like, do you stand with a vampire? And the person's like, no, I don't like vampires. And you're like, well, neither
Right,
does
man.
Tom. And you're going to go ahead and improve your standing to +1. The townsfolk are now moderately on your side.
That's right.
And so they're going to start joining in on the chanting.
Okay.
And the cloaked figure is getting nervous about all this stuff you're doing. So they're going to change their focus to the crowd. If you take any actions that involve the crowd now, they're going to inflict a risky consequence of some kind.
Excellent. I'm gonna go ahead and turn around. I am in my
exactly
pot.
what you wanted.
The beetle, my friend, my beloved Arnold. That's his name. Arnold has died. And you know what? Fine. He won't eat a muffin. Pretty sure he can't resist my red truffles. And I'm gonna take some of my red oil. I'm gonna blend that up. And I'm also going to take some
And red oil is a combination of an alchemic substance called red mercury, which when anybody is angry near it, explodes. Red oil mixes that with oil to make an extremely flammable substance.
Wait, if anybody's angry?
Yeah.
I'm also going to mix it. I also have bait that is going to lure this creature in, and I'm going to roll it kind of like a little mud cake here and roll it into a mud ball. Be like, truffle.
Are we about to spirit bomb this hooded figure right now?
Try and tempt him
That
into eating the fireball with bait. All right.
The fireball that grows stronger as people are angry around it.
Because bait is produce an appropriate item that will lure in a specific creature and have them to want to eat it.
So, since you're pretty sure this character is a vampire, I think bait in this case is probably blood.
Sorry, Alfred. Just kind of roll the mud ball around
in the blood.
It served your purpose.
All right.
He's fine.
Alfred.
So he would have wanted this.
Alfred did not die in vain.
As a sentient character, I'm going to say you're starting at 0 effect to persuade them to eat the bait that's right in front of them from an enemy. And since you're at close range with them, I'm going to say you're in desperate position trying to do this.
Oh, man.
Do you want to push for effect to lure them into trying it? Or set it up somehow?
That seems to be the trick.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to.
Effect.
How much stress would that cost to push for that effect?
2 stress will get you up to limited. So they'll be tempted. They might not eat it, but they'll be tempted to at least take it.
Is this technically a ranged attack against a target in close?
Not unless you're pelting him with it, and that's a very different action than emote.
Yeah.
You can just throw the red oil onto him instead of trying to get it inside of him, but
because then I could technically use powder burn, and that costs no stress to push for effect with that.
That's true.
Maybe Irma's angry at this point because
that would make
Alfred
sense.
Died. So what about a truffle? And just like throws it at him.
All right. And so since you're angry, it's going to ignite as you throw it. So you're basically just invented a fireball. Cool.
Flaming truffles.
All right. So it's still desperate. And your effect with throwing it should be normal, I would say. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so normal desperate to hit him.
Can I push for an extra die, or is there a way I can get an extra die?
Well, you've got powder burn. I don't know if that lets you push for anything or only for effect.
Pushes for effect. Okay.
Okay.
We'll stick with what we got.
So that'll push you up to greater, which means you'll be able to nail him right in the face or wherever you want it to hit.
Okay. Face would be nice.
All right. And the ball lobs right past him and hits one of the people in the crowd, and they turn in confusion and then catch fire. And they're like, ah, ah! And so that's going to cost you guys one standing as one consequence. And then the other consequence is he's going to take the butt end of his spear and whack you with it. And so that'll do another glancing hit.
Oh.
So you could resist one or both of those. Somebody else can also protect if they want to.
Yeah. Grigsby, drop and roll the person.
Okay.
You're asking the tree to handle the person who is on fire.
Okay, I really should consider.
How about
asking.
I grab that person and throw the on fire person at the hooded person.
That's not going to help your standing, but you could do it.
No, that's not nice.
That's true.
What I'll do is I will resist the person going on fire. I
Good
wasn't
choice.
aiming for them.
That
And
sounds
essentially
like awareness.
I'm gonna go ahead and use my water knight ability to just kind of like hose him in the face to get it to go out.
Okay.
And then I will use armor for the second consequence. But let me go ahead and roll this first for the resist here.
Big money.
One stress. Lucky.
Nice.
Yes, we're getting lucky at this point.
All right. So, okay. So you did not lose standing with the crowd because you didn't kill someone this time. But the second supporter, you are going to lose them because it's only a partial resist. So they're like, oh, this is dangerous, and so they're gonna move away from Grigsby and just head off.
Cowards! You're like my loyal disciple, aren't you, other Joe Nasty?
I think I'm going to go ahead and try another shot, but I'm going to change tactic, and I'm going to use essentially, because I just put the fire out on that person's body, I'll go ahead and use my water knight to kind of lob another truffle, but hopefully with better aim.
Okay.
Than just doing it out of just sheer anger for Alfred.
So that should still be the same position and effect of Desperate Greater.
Okay. I should not be this nervous to roll the dice. A 4 and a 2.
That's an improvement.
Okay.
So the ball hits him in the face, and he reaches up to try and pull the material off as it catches fire. So that's going to do 2 ticks on their guard clock. Tick, tick. Sorry, their fight clock. Guard clock's a different mechanic. And they're now on fire, which is a potent setup action for other stuff. However, as you do that, they are going to stab you with the same spear that they used on your beetle. And once the spear is inside you, they're going to release the alchemic focus on the spear tip, and it's going to unfold like a flower, and just so you're going to take broken harm, which is bad enough that you'll have to pay 2 stress to take any action for the rest of the scene. So you'll probably want to resist or armor block that.
Yeah. Yikes.
I just used my armor.
Do you have enough load for heavy armor?
Let me see.
It'll be 1 more load, and it'll let you check off your outfit box to resist a level of harm here.
Ooh, I don't know if I actually have heavy armor. I have plenty of explosives or weapons. Let's see. Flame Knight, cooler shields.
Oh, it's not a class specific thing. Anybody can have heavy armor. I'm just asking if you've got enough load for it.
I think I have exactly one load box left.
Yeah,
So,
that's
Ian.
enough to upgrade your
That's
light
enough.
armor to heavy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Probably worth doing.
Yeah, totally gonna do it.
Okay, and so that'll reduce it from broken down to just a wound.
Yeah.
And then you can resist that again to turn it down into a glancing hit with just your regular like prowess resist, if you want, or you can take the wound.
I'm gonna go ahead and just take the wound.
Okay, so that'll be -1d on everything going forward. But if somebody can produce elixir, which is just a one load item, or if somebody has a supply of elixir is even better, then you'll be able to drink it to cross out that wound and it won't affect you going forward.
Grigsby would have a supply of elixirs.
Yeah, so if you can get over there or if you can throw it or something, then you'll be able to cross that wound out.
Don't break
All right.
my face, Grigsby.
Okay.
So they stab it in, but you manage to pull it out before it unfolds and mutilates you. So you've got a wound, but not a crippling one. And so the cloaked figure is going to change their focus to themselves now because they're feeling more defensive. And also, I can stop calling them the cloaked figure because you've burned their cloak off. And you can now see that it is a Ratha, which is a kind of
Yes.
revenant.
Victory.
And these revenants are ones who became old enough that they're not considered fit for the regular service, and so they instead commit like a ritual suicide and become vampires serving the horde. And so it is both a vampire and a revenant.
I'm afraid of no fat ghosts.
And just a pronoun update: all Ratha are female, so you now know that this one's a she.
Right.
I feel
Can
kind
I
of bad.
Can I? So, question. I have Fan the Hammer as a special ability, which allows me to improve my effective scale by 1 if I'm pushing.
Mm-hmm.
And so that would counter her. I'm sorry, I forget the name of the ability you described, but
the evasion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was on the guard up on the roof who's dead.
Oh, so that was okay. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. All right.
Yep. This one might also have it, but you have it. No, because they didn't use it against Irma's attack just now. So yeah, they don't have that one.
We wouldn't expect that to be the case. All right.
Yeah. The scale will still let you hit them harder because it's more bullets.
All right. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to say that while all of this social stuff was going on, I quickly speed loaded my revolver, so it's now full. And I'm going to fire off rapidly, fanning the hammer, pushing myself, which is going to increase my scale. When I do that, I also get the effect of pushing as well as that ability, as in normal blades, or?
Yep.
Okay. So let's say I'm going to increase. I'm going to use that to push to go for effect.
Okay. So you're starting at threat 1 for a revolver, but then you're bumping up the scale and you're pushing for effect. So that puts you at limited effect against a threat 4 enemy.
Gosh.
Except they have armor. I forgot the armor, so that actually drops you back down to 0 effect.
Deathwish, everything is limited.
Okay. Everything is hard to hurt.
Yeah, it's a vampire, so if you've got like Philosopher's Stone ammo or Elixir ammo or something, like if Grigsby used that Elixir supply on your ammo, that could give you potency that'll bump you back up to limited.
Okay.
Grigsby, you feel like sharing?
Yeah, definitely. So
you pour some healing potion into his bullets, and on undead, that's actually harmful instead of healing.
Nice. Do I just toss it to him?
Yeah. A supply means you have as much as you need. No, it's not even a cost since he's right there.
Cool. And I also want to try to get the elixir to Irma. So should I run there or should I?
Well, so if you want to run there, that's barrel. If you want to sneak there, it's finesse. And if you want to throw it, it's draw.
I am good.
Throw it in
at-
my face. She's just laying there. Ah.
You know, I think I'm just gonna take my time because if I rush, I'm liable to mess it up. I'm just going to sort of saunter.
You could also pass a vial over to Jack and have him throw it because I think he's pretty good at draw.
I will also do that, but I will continue sauntering after I do that.
All right.
Just because you like sauntering. All right. So should I make?
If you
a
give
roll
me the
pass the draw?
elixir, the elixir is already on the bad guy, and I can use my pepper box essentially to fire the ants at him, and it will essentially consume him.
Oh right. Yeah. I totally forgot. Your pepper box comes with a supply of elixir for the ants. So actually you could just heal yourself with that.
No,
Oh.
no. So let the boys. It will be fine.
I helped.
But besides, that elixir is to feed the pepper. So I
Ants
can
only.
use that for myself. Exactly.
All right. Looks like we're coming up on the hour mark. So I think we should go ahead and take our break now.
Okay.
All right,
Sounds
and then we'll
good.
come back to it in 5 minutes or so.
Sounds good.